You know, we made it through the craziness, and I think we're on a good track. So, different place now. Services look a little different, but this is a great space, and everybody's doing a great job. Do take a look around. We're in a new space, but we see some of the same old faces, right? And the faces are Jubilee. So I ask you to take the hand of the person next to you, and we'll have a short prayer. Before we start, just feel the warm energy surrounding you, coming through the hand that you're holding, the power of the earth rising through your feet, the immensity of the universe settling on your shoulders. Feel the warm energy of Jubilee surround you, flow through the hands you're holding, and combine with the people around you. And know that that is God's reflection in Jubilee. God, we thank you for the connections you've made for us, and we thank you for the adversity you've given us, which we are using to build a stronger foundation. Please watch over us, especially during this meeting, and help us communicate effectively. Thank you. Amen. So we've had a couple crazy years. I'm not going to sit here on my soapbox, but one thing, conversations with Laura that had come up, the last year especially, and last couple of years, everything has been urgent, right? Stressful, has to happen, had to happen last week. Well, now we're in a different place. Things do still need to happen, but they need to happen immediately, not urgently. Right? So, but it gives us an opportunity. We can take time, a little bit of time. They still have to happen immediately, but we can take time to make sure that they get done right so that we don't have to go back and redo them again. And so to kick off this year, of course, we do have a new board coming in. And so I think that is the next step, is to have our new board elections. Jeff, thank you, sir.
Good morning. I'm Jeff, representing the Jubilee Board and the nominating committee. Thank you. A lot of the current board some of the current board is out of town right now, but you can see this is our current board up there, and I would like Michael to come forward, and I don't think John David is here, but Michael and JD, can you come forward too, please? Yes, please give it up for them. So Michael and John David, or JD, have faithfully served their full 3-year terms, doing incredible work for Jubilee community. And I would like you to join me in thanking them for their service. You guys know Bruce Mulkey and Michelle Bernhardt as two incredible members of the Jubilee staff who do so much for us. And it's important that they come to our board meetings to inform us and advise us. And so they are considered ex officio members of the board. They do not have a voting role, but we are very thankful that they support us in that way and support the community. Can we do the next slide? Thanks. Okay, so in April and May, we asked people who were interested in serving on the Jubilee board to come forward, and we talked with people, and the nominating committee also actively searched for people. And we had 2 people whose highlights are up on the Jubitron, Sharon Kramer and Beth Pape, Could you two please stand up and come forward? Or you could- Sure. Thank you, Sharon and Beth. They're going to step outside for a second. They've shown the willingness and desire to serve on the board, which is a big commitment, and we really appreciate them for that. So at this point, I hope that you've taken the opportunity to read their bios, and if you haven't, there's a few highlights about them that you could quickly read. I'm not going to read through it. So at this point, we are going to vote on them and hopefully confirm them as members of the board. And so all of you who are in favor of Sharon and Beth serving on the board, please raise your hands. Thank you. And anyone opposed, please raise your hand. Thank you, community, for welcoming them to the Jubilee board. Appreciate y'all.
Welcome to the board, officially. Well, I will be happy to say that, although I'll have to step down before then, but I'll still be here. So if you want me to get up and say thank you in 3 years, I'll be happy to. So we've got a lot of things going on at Jubilee, a lot of changes in the works, and a lot still going on. One thing, just to reassure you, we have renegotiated contract with Laura, so she is staying on with us until March of next year. And that wasn't enough applause, but we're good, we're good. And the happiest part about it, I am, Laura has agreed to take on a more expanded role and to actually help us in the transition. So I am very appreciative to have her knowledge. So thank you very much. Who's next? Is that Louise next? Louise? I give the microphone to you. I don't want it back.
You have to take it back. I just want to recognize the folks that have been very involved and very good in the ministerial search. And first of all, to all of us watching online and in person, this may be the most important decision of our community in a long time, the way I see it. Do y'all remember your Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the Republic. So a good search team appoints a search team that the community says, that's a good group, that's our republic. We believe those people can help us pick a new minister. And we will be looking for volunteers, and we may call you and ask you, because we want the ministerial search to be a good representation of our community. Do y'all agree with that? Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. These four folks, as well as Wiley Garrett, have been involved in the search task force, and they have created a wonderful position description for the new minister, and they've created a wonderful description of Jubilee as it is today. And they will be meeting tomorrow, is my understanding, with Laura, to create an expanded process and to take wisdom from folks who've done the kind of searches we need to do so that we develop a great process with a great outcome. Those of you that got involved in the survey already and helped with the criteria for the minister search. There were 86 of you. If you were involved, stand up, please, to get recognized. How many of you filled the survey out? Look at this, all right? Woohoo! Thank y'all. So we've gotten community input. We want to get more community input. And there's a phrase up there that's from the dyslexia world that I love, and it goes back to Tim's theme of urgency, but not, what was your other word? Immediacy. We're not in the emergency room, right? We may be still needing to fix things, but we're not in the emergency room. The phrase is, we will have a minister in place as fast as we possibly can and as slow as we must.
Me? Good morning. I'm Ray from the finance team. Hi. I'm here. I'm here to talk a little bit about where we stand financially. We have gone through a lot of years in our early years of Jubilee. I remember that we were nip and tuck on whether we would make it or not. We had a few benefactors that came forward and really helped us out. But we've stabilized through the years, and we've always been kind of in a positive position. We were pushing ourselves out in the world. We had the funds to do it. And it seems like that's the way we are today. So looking at the proceeds, so we know that we sold the building for $1.825 million. We had a mortgage that we had to pay off and some other fees as well. So the money is now invested in a couple of different funds at the Community Foundation of Western North Carolina. They're right there on Highway 25, just south of the interstate. They're an excellent organization. They represent a lot of nonprofits in the Western North Carolina region. We also had some investments that we sold off at Wells Fargo and commingled those funds as well into this pie chart that you see making up. So a couple of things. The operational side, which is the $375,000 that you see in, I guess that's orange, that's the kind of, we're right now in kind of a negative cash flow with Jubilee. We're spending more money than we're taking in. But we've put some money in to kind of get us through this rough patch so that we can go through the expenses of hiring a minister and just hopefully switch us around where we're back to breaking even at least. But that should get us through the next 18 months or so. Ooh, little bee there. There you go. Fly away. We've also... Oh, it's yes, that's right. Let's see, what's next? The outreach. We have set up a Howard Hanger Legacy Fund with $150,000. That's in a permanent endowment at the Community Foundation. That's not money that we can give it away, and we can define where 4% goes each year, but that money's locked away forever, in perpetuity. So, yeah, amen. Diane and I were over at Howard's and gave him a letter from the board, and he was very enthusiastic about the fact that we've got a starting fund of $150,000. We hope that that's not where it ends. We hope that people, Jubilants and other people in the community that know Howard, are willing to contribute to the Community Foundation. They're a nonprofit as well, so you're certainly welcome to go that avenue if you want. If you have questions about that, come find me later. Was there a question, Marion? No, it's not for Howard. It's just got his name on it. It will go into nonprofits in the region and even beyond the region, because we support like the home in Guatemala and other places. So it doesn't have to be just Western North Carolina, but that's the preference. Okay?
So then the 4% annualized returns we expect now, we're going to be giving that money away for $50,000 a year. Is that the idea?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, any other questions about that? So, I mean, we give away more than that, but that will be, that's a permanently endowed, no matter what happens to Howard or Jubilee in the future. Yeah. And the outreach committee, absolutely. No, Howard doesn't really have any say in that. I mean, he might come and say, hey, I know this great nonprofit that I'd like to give to, or he would like you to give to, but other questions?
Who would administer it, but you did it.
Oh, the administration?
Yeah, who would do the donations, but Laura just answered.
Okay,
Who's gonna
yeah.
do that? Thank you.
Yeah, the outreach team. Yeah.
Ray, I have a question back to the operations part. I was just
Right.
thinking, does that include money set aside for the rental of this space?
Right. Well, so we're
that-
I've got another slide that we're going to break down
Okay,
where we're
I'll wait.
spending money, but the short answer is yes. Right. So the remaining balance of the seed money, which is money that we don't intend to touch for some time, so it's into investments. It's into a socially responsible portfolio, otherwise known as ESG funds. We also have some money that's in a multi-manager portfolio. Those are right now equally divided, but we have the right to move those monies around. And they have a couple other funds as well, but working with their advisors, we felt like that was the best choice to get started. The only thing that's not flexible is the $150,000. That's locked away. We can only add to it. We can't, other than the 4% each year. Okay? Next slide is the projected budget. So the finance team gets together, and we normally, the old process for years and years, we would work with Don Fortuna, and we would wait until all the pledge cards came in through the end of the year, and then we would, based on the number of pledges that we had, we would set our budget. We know that we can count on our pledgers to give us this amount of money, and that's how much money we can spend. Well, we don't really have a good definitive list of our pledgers, so we really have been kind of guessing based on like the last few months. So we've been working on quarterly budgets to the board, and they've been approving our recommendations. We're getting ready to go more into a 6-month budget for the rest of the year, but we're not quite ready because we really don't know who all of our pledgers are. So we don't know how much money we should expect. So this is still a work in progress. You can kind of see that our pledges are not nearly what they used to be. Yeah. Okay, so the pledges are $2,200 a month. Donations are $6,000. And then the Hunger Fund is $1,455 per month. That's what those are averages over the last 5 months of the year. Our estimated monthly expenses are $24,600. So we're spending more than we're bringing in. So made it up of staff, payroll, outreach, administrative expenses, communications, rent celebration expenses, insurance, storage fees, and some other smaller things. So our shortfall's almost $15,000 a month. Okay, that's what the $375,000 is going to offset that. But that won't get us forever. We've got to switch that around, right? We know that, right? I mean, it looks like we're sitting on a big pile of money, but we've kind of, the finance team and the board, we've agreed that, okay, the 375 is going to get us through this rough patch that we're in, but things have got to switch around, right? So, and then that final slide. So just kind of turning that chart of numbers into a graphical representation, you can see that the monthly income is just, it should be the other way around, right? Month income, we should be bringing in more than we're spending, right? So, we have adequate funds to get us through this patch, but at some point in the future, if things don't change around, we're going to have to make some financial decisions with the board, and I don't know what all, there might be cuts, who knows what might happen, but we've got We can't just run it into the ground. So that's our situation. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not bad news. We have a lot of money, right? So we're well funded, and now is the time that we can change and move things around. Marion.
It is not clear to me how I'll become a pledge person.
Well, you just hold on for about 30 seconds because we're going to
Okay.
talk about that. Yeah. Yeah, JD. No, it's all done. In fact, that's why the May budget, yeah, right. We did the right thing, right? We were borrowing from a fund to but we pledged that we would pay it all back. All those funds have been dispersed. And so the nonprofits are happy to get the big checks. And the staff has been paid for the deferred salaries. So yeah, May looked like a really rough month for us from cash flow, but it was catching up on past monies that we had borrowed. So yeah, and all monies coming in now through hunger are all going out immediately according to our commitments. So any last questions? Okay. You're welcome.
One of the things that's given the board a lot of peace of mind is to have the folks who are involved in our finance team who understand finances and are even able to communicate to lay people like me. So thank you, Ray, and all of you who serve in that way. And we were remembering when Tim said it's been a year. I was sitting beside Bruce and I said, Bruce, wasn't it just a year ago this month that you alerted us of the dire, unsustainable situation we were in related to Wall Street? And look where we are. Wow. So, I mean, it has been a tough year, but a very important year. Of course, the focal point of any annual meeting is to get a sense of the state of our Jubilee and to help us develop a shared sense of where things stand and to point, at least in a general direction, that we feel like we're headed. Well, those of you, all of us have been around for a while, and we know we have labored to try to push general sense of direction into specifics. That's why the song Wo Ya Ya has been our theme song. We will get there, heaven knows where we are going. That's the way it has been. But the good news is that even today, the best we can say is we, the Jubilee community, have refined our compelling vision and mission and values and affirmations. And I hope you will take time to read those. They're also, as Laura said earlier, available on our website. Our board has a joint planning retreat in the works that will include board staff, representatives of all of our vital and essential teams in Jubilee, and we're hoping to be able to do that yet this summer. Our Minister Search Task Force, as we've already identified, has done phenomenal work, and we're going to be expanding that. And as somebody mentioned, I think Louise mentioned, Laura and the 3 board leaders will be meeting with the Minister Search Task Force tomorrow for next steps on that. And as Ray just shared with us, we are blessed to have enough financial resources that we are not in a desperate situation. And we're blessed with a community of deeply invested jubilants. So, for a community that's looking for direction, it seems like there's almost something funny about the fact that we're asking you today to pledge, to renew your commitment to a caravan whose banner says, we're finding our way. But it's a caravan that does not see Jubilee's future as a problem to be solved, but an adventure to be joined. and exploration in the company of this bunch who are a ragtag, broken, and beautiful group of folks who have chosen or who have been drawn into this community of courageous love as we practice to become a community of courageous love. So this reminds me of that Hafiz poem that I read that Wednesday night, I think back in January when we came here to kind of try on this space. Part of that poem invites us to come join the honest company of the king's beggars, those gamblers, scoundrels, and divine clowns, and those astonishing fair courtesans who need divine love every night. Come join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed, the spirit of courageous love is real. I will lead you into the circle of the beloved's cunning thieves, those playful royal rogues, the ones you can trust for true guidance, who can aid you in this blessed calamity of life. And that's Jubilee. Yeah. So today we want to invite you to make or to renew your commitment. Now, this is not a traditional financially focused pledge campaign. We're probably going to do that in the fall. So when that time comes, know that we're not just doubling up on a pledge campaign. But this is an invitation for all of us to cast our vote for a Jubilee community that for years to come can be finding our way and living out our dynamic vision and mission. So I want to invite you to look at your commitment card. Did all of you get one yet? Nope. All right, good. Well, now is the time to distribute them. Thanks, Kathy and John. And a big thanks to Michelle Bernhardt for putting these cards together in her usual amazing capacity. Once everybody has one, we'll move forward together. We're doing that now. Okay, we're also right now going to be distributing some small river stones, and we'll explain to you a little later in our closing ritual what to do with those. So if you will just hang on to them. As we're passing the rocks around, let me invite you to look at the side of your card that has the most blue on it. Our theme for this commitment campaign captures the best of where we are: belonging, believing, becoming, stepping up to nurture our compassionate community. First, I want to be clear that we're not asking you to fill these out and turn them in right now today. Because the decisions we're hoping that you'll make are too important and too sacred to rush. So for the next 3 Sundays, we're going to have a bowl, a sacred bowl here in the center of our celebration space, and we'll provide an opportunity for you to bring your commitments and put them in the bowl. So flip your card over, and here are the particular things we want you to attend to when those come. Diane? Yeah. Well, I'll get to that in just a sec. Okay, thank you. So here are the things we really would love to have you do. First of all, provide your contact information. Apart from our community directory online, we do not have any comprehensive place that definitively captures who is connected to Jubilee. And we'd love to include your name in that listing. If, when you fill this out, if you're not comfortable having your information, particularly contact information or so on, published on our website, even though it's password protected, then just make a note of that, but we will capture your contact information in our private records, which makes it much easier for us to communicate, to know who's involved. And by the way, this whole idea of who's connected to Jubilee touches on a reminder that we have a group of folks who've also begun the process of helping us craft a new pathways to jubilation, as we're calling it. Because even the term membership doesn't always exactly fit with Jubilee. So they're in a group of jubilants are helping us think through what that means and how newcomers can get connected with Jubilee, know how to get involved, learn about the history and the character of this bunch that we are. So Chaz, thank you for helping lead that Pathways to Jubilation group up. Okay, now on the financial part of your card, as Ray explained, even here at Rainbow, with lower expenses for facilities than we had at Wall Street, we're still facing a negative cash flow of almost $15,000 a month. And obviously, that is not sustainable. If hypothetically we had the same number of people contributing the same amounts, we would pretty quickly spend down our reserves over a few years and would basically have to close our doors. But none of us sees that happening. The renewing Jubilee is already drawing new people in. Many of us recognize that the spirit, the energy, the mission, the vision of Jubilee are a movement whose time has come. And we're in a position now to continue to draw more people in. And today, we can't make choices for those who will be coming, but each of us today can reassess our commitment. And to Diane's question, please enter the amount that you intend to give, regardless of what you have given in the past. And if you want to put it as a weekly amount or a monthly amount or an annual amount, we can do the math to figure it out. Yes, Carol?
Whatever one chooses to contribute.
Yes.
Is that going to go to the current budget right now, or is it going to go toward that $300,000?
Okay, Carol, thanks. So Carol's asking, will these contributions go toward that $375,000 or toward current operations? That $375,000 is a reserve amount to be drawn on only as needed to fill in shortfall. Because, and so the answer to your question is the commitments that you make, the money that we give for operations, and this is not for the hunger basket, these pledges are for our operational expenses. Those will go to our current operational expenses. And our hope and expectation is even through the remainder of 2023, we're going to see the amount that's coming in for our Jubilee operational gifts continue to increase, which will reduce the amount we'll need to draw from that 375,000 reserves. So good question, Carol. Okay, yes.
I'd be interested to know what the monthly pattern has been over the last year or two. Have the pledges and donations been declining, or have they turned around, or
You
what?
want to speak to that, Ray?
Yeah, COVID really put the whammy on us in terms of our getting together and sending out pledging. We haven't done a pledge campaign in several years, so we really don't have a good baseline. It's basically whatever we have regulars, Diane and others that just send in money, but we just don't know. So we're just looking to up that up. One point is right now with the 375 that's in the account, we've got enough money in our checking account to make it through at our deficit spending to make it through the end of the year. So we won't even likely be touching that amount until into next year.
We used to have a way you could write out your bank account number and have it automatically taken out. Are we going to return to, because that's, I don't even think about it unless, I like to do it automatically. Is that going to return?
Yeah, there's several methods. I mean, I bank with Truist, and they actually cut a check each month and send it in by mail at no cost to me. But each bank is different. We have, what's that system called? Breeze, yeah. So we have Breeze. So if you have any questions about how to make it real easy to give, come find us afterwards, and we can kind of give you a couple of different approaches to it.
Yes, for sure.
We like easy.
Thanks, Ray. Yes, yes. And Michelle, Bernhardt, or Bruce can help guide you on that. So thank you. Great questions. Yes, Greg?
Fill them out, be online?
Yes,
On the
you can
website?
also fill it out online. In fact, we will be sending an e-blast to all jubilants tomorrow, providing a concise recap of this with a link to submit your pledge if you would like to do it that way. Yes, good. Carol, you had another question?
Since we moved to Thank you. Has it been decreasing since we moved to Rainbow School, or has there not been much of a change?
Well, I mean, when we were at Wall Street, basically we were spending between insurance and our mortgage payment about $5,000 a month, $4,900 and change, and we're paying $1,400 a week or a month plus some insurance. So we've gone from about $5,000 a month to about $2,000 a month as renters. So we've come down $3,000. So that was a positive thing. Of course, we only get the building really for 4 Sundays, whereas Wall Street we had it 24/7. But there's limitations that come with being a renter. But yeah, that's right. But we've just had some increased expenses. The move cost us some money. It wasn't that bad because of things like the Bazaar. Thank you, Kathy. We made almost $2,000 there, so we offset some of the expenses of moving. So it's really difficult to answer that question about what are things like, because it's been so dynamic for these past 4 or 5 months. So, yeah, Marion.
Are you going to have an official day to turn these things in, or it's just up to us?
Over the next 3 Sundays, we will have our sacred bowl here, and we'll provide opportunity for everyone to turn them in if you'd like to bring them in. And as we said, there's opportunity to do that online as well.
Okay.
Good. Thank you. Sure.
So I just wanted to add something real quick about the $375,000 that you saw. We have money set aside already for this year. So the goal that 375 to supplement our budget will begin in next calendar year, and we are working to develop a budget on how it will be used to extend it as far as possible. So the pledges that you're making now and the official pledge campaign that we'll be running are actually to offset the use of that 375 and hopefully be able to turn that money into more seed money or more outreach money. So that's our goal. I just wanted to add that.
Thanks, Tim. So what we're doing now in this broader commitment campaign will help us know what those numbers are going to look like as each of us reevaluates our giving, and as newcomers come in and join us in investing in a thriving and sustainable Jubilee. Okay, any other final questions on financial part? So the time and talent section of your pledge, your commitment, in a lot of ways kind of blends together. And as you consider how you want to be involved, there may be specific ways you'll want to tease that out as time or talent, specific things. But I want you to get a snapshot just for a second of the level of energy and investment that's going on in Jubilee right now and over the last years. Will you raise your hand if you participated in, helped in any of these things I'm going to mention? Helped in any way with the sale of the building? Raise your hand. Just keep your hand up, please. Helped with organizing, selling, and donating stuff that we had accumulated at Wall Street. Okay, some more hands. Helped to manage and or implement the move. Okay. Help to re-energize our pathways to jubilation. Okay. Involved in helping with our community life and activities. Raise your hand. Jubilee singers, raise your hand. Ensuring that our celebrations have great music and messages and rituals and sound and streaming. Raise your hand. Okay. Have been involved in bulletin preparations and quotes and seeds. Laura, I know you have too, so, okay. Brought gifts of music or poetry or dance or any other kind of gift. Have helped guide our financial and outreach decisions. Raise your hands. Been involved on the board and communications. Yes. Setting up and taking down for celebrations here at Rainbow. Hospitality, bringing snacks for our after celebration times. Been a part of our welcome team, our minister search team, our prayer team, our transformation circle, our earth team, providing flowers and other ways to beautify our celebration space. Have led or participated in book groups and rituals and offerings that are not on Sunday. Have volunteered with justice and compassion outreach projects and nonprofits around the area. Look at that. I mean, have you seen that? Have you seen the level of energy and vitality that is the Jubilee community? And this is the state of Jubilee. This level of involvement and passion and heart is the state of Jubilee. And so when Michelle does Jubilee in action, she's just talking about Jubilee. We are not a group of consumers who come to consume wonderful celebrations on Sunday. We're a part of a movement. So over the next couple of weeks, please give some very careful thought and consideration to this and turn those in. I want to say a big thank you to Chaz Jansen for developing this graphic that reflects a lot of the energy of Jubilee. We're going to be keeping this up for several weeks, and I hope you'll take time to look at that. You'll find how it resonates with our past and holds us in our present and leads us into the future. So thank you. And Chaz and Maureen are going to lead us now in a closing ritual.
All right, Maureen and I want to bring closure to this community meeting by bringing us back to the spiritual life of Jubilee. But of course, every part of this meeting has been spirit in action. And it's thrilling, it's exciting, it's uplifting. Now at the end, let's make it personal. Sensing the spirit within the larger mission, which each of us is a part of, Maureen has offered to put us through a body prayer to share, and I want to ask you to bring us home.
So I'm pleased that so many gestures have happened today, and may that continue. This is a prayer, and it's going to use very simply our arms. I'm going to do one arm. And it's called the light of compassion. Compassion is what our last via was about. And compassion toward each other, building community, and compassion in outreach, and the many ways we serve each other is a part of our giving to Jubilee. So if you would stand. And we're calling on the light, the source of light, to come into our crown, to come into our very mind and clear away any dullness or problem for the time being, to be free and open. And to bring that light down into our eyes, to be able to see the beauty around us, the beauty in each other, and the beauty of this wonderful season. To our ears, so that we can listen to bird song and the rush of waters that have recently come into our streams. To put our hand and bring the light into our nose, our sense of smell, the way that we can smell the flowers of spring. To our mouth, our sense of taste, to taste all of the goodness of the garden and of the giving that we do at this time to pantries, to share the abundance. We bring the light down to our throat, our speaking voice, that our words may be kind and compassionate to ourselves, to each other, and to the community of the world outside, and to all creatures. And then to bring the light down to our lungs, our very breath, our ruah, that we may breathe in fresh air and breathe out the compassion to each other and beyond. And then we invite the light into our heart, our love and compassion center, that we may grow in our love and how to love as we become more compassionate as a community, and that we get to know each other so that we can love each other more. Then we're bringing the light down to our internal organs that work so beautifully together. Is it not amazing? It's a microcosm of the universe that we don't totally understand. And then to bring the light down into our legs and to our legs which support us, which take us places. Gratitude. And that will take us to walk into compassion when we leave here. And then into our feet. We send the light down into Mother Earth, who we love and who holds us. And we ask Mother Earth to take any toxins that have come with the light, because Mother Earth composts them for us and allows the seeds to fall into the earth, bring forth new life, and start this regenerative circle again and again. Amen. Aho. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Maureen. I wanted to share a couple of details from the commitment campaign graphic that I made. It was my aim to represent aspects of Jubilee that would resonate in various ways with each of us, reminding us of cherished events at Jubilee and opening our hearts to share our time, talent, and treasure. So there's messages that are throughout this. You can see that there's a fair amount of text in this, but I included some wisdom sayings. Here, for example, is something by Jack Kornfield. Here in the giving panel, which is really about what all of this hangs upon. And the quote from Jack Kornfield is, "Compassionate generosity is the foundation of true spiritual life. Each act of generosity is a recognition of our interdependence." And there's one other I'd like to point out in the middle here. It brings together enjoyment, peace, and service. It seems like a holy trinity to me. It seems like it should be in that collection of 9 that you were helping us to understand. This is what it says. The dedicated, that would be all of us, the dedicated ever enjoy supreme peace, therefore live only to serve. At the end, underneath a sort of ecumenical symbol here, it says, truth is one, paths are many. We're the paths. So, before dismissing for the socializing that we can do and the snacks, Maureen will explain why we have given out the stone that you're holding. Maureen?
So, Michael, it was very brilliant of you, wherever you were, to say it's a river rock and a river stone. So I ask you to take your rock, got mine in my pocket, and hold it in your hand and consider what during this next week you can bring to mind that you love, and also what you can give to another. What kind of compassion can you share over this week? Take just a moment and consider that. And then if you would move to someone who's close to you and share with each other what you've decided to do for others, to bring your compassion to others, as you wish. Do that real quickly. If you haven't heard from the other partner, please switch now. Okay, if you can come back to listening this way. Some beautiful thoughts, I'm sure. Different ways to move us toward compassion and service, which is part of what is talked about on our overall pledge card. So now I'd like you to give your stone to the person that you've talked to. And carry it this week. And when you see your partner next week, you can hear what they've been able to do or not able to do. And in this way, we are sharing at a deeper level with each other, which is something we want to move into. Compassion and service. If it's strong within us, it'll be strong as we go out. Thank you.
Food and snacks in the 6th grade classroom.